This video series that we're working on here is about how skate parks actually get made, and that is through all steps of the process.
Somebody comes to the skate park project to ask for help for funding their skate park. There are a couple things we want to see. We want to make sure that they're doing the skate park right. And when we say that, we mean a public skate park needs to be concrete, unsupervised, outdoor, and designed and built by professionals with community input. So skate parks should never be standardized as far as design or anything like that, but if you want it to last, if you're going to spend several years building support and raising funds for a skate park, you want it to last for as long as possible. You want it to work, and you want it to be a good reflection of the community. So in order for it to last as long as possible, you have to hire a professional designer and builder who specialize in skate parks. If you want it to work well, you have to get the local community involved because they know what they want. They may have a skate park 3 miles this way, 10 miles that way that has XYZ, and so they want ABC in this skate park, right? If you have a city and a general contractor try to make a skate park without the help of a professional skate park firm or a bunch of local skaters, it's not going to go very well. I've skated those. We've all skated those parks that look like they should be okay, but they kind of suck and they don't work and nobody goes there. When the skate park's designed with the local input and it's built by a professional skate park firm, it's gonna have that gravity. It's gonna have that vacuum of being well designed. The features look good. The skaters want to skate that because it skates properly. And all that is a combination of hiring a professional skate park designer and builder and with what the locals want. In terms of how to fund that, every city's different, every county's different. So some cities put funding towards the recreational facilities, some cities don't. Generally, you want to look at grants. You want to look at local grants, state grants, federal grants, in any way or capacity that grant, whether it's the youth health grant for Albuquerque, your skate park will help the youth in terms of their health. They get their exercise. The USC study that the Skate Park Project helped fund determined that skateboarding improves mental health. So there are lots of ways that your skate park project, your vision for a skate park project, and the benefits that come out of it, those benefits intersect with these funders' missions, right? So some funders will be supporting LGBTQ+ projects or inclusivity projects. Some funders will be focused on mental health. And you can take all of the benefits of the skate park and combine those benefits and tell the story to that funder on a couple different levels to fund a skate park. You have grant funding, federal, state, local, regional grant funding, and then local grant funding community groups that you can combine the benefits of the skate park with their mission, or I should say, working with some local fundraising groups that have already gone through this for other types of projects. And I think that for this particular project, Mid-City Cannes Youth Council really did a good job of connecting with a lot of these different groups to learn from the different groups and to continue to build the narrative around this park and get the support they needed to get the city to invest in applying for a grant, which returned a lot of funds for the park itself. There's data out there that you can use to support your project. One, on the physical side, Cal State University San Marcos demonstrated that people get their CDC recommended cardiovascular exercise every day when they skate. The average duration of a skate session is 57 minutes with an average heart rate of 143 beats per minute. You're moving, you're exercising, you're getting it done. So youth and adults get their recommended exercise every day. Skate parks are the fourth most utilized park space in terms of use hours, behind walking paths, swimming pools, and gymnasiums. So these things are getting used. And then an Aspen Institute study said that 21% of high schoolers, the sport that they want to do the most is skateboarding. Lastly, the socio-emotional factors of skate parks. What does it do for your mental health, your spiritual health, your community? And the USC Beyond the Board study, which was an ethnographic study that the Skate Park Project helped fund, surveyed 5,000 people, skaters across the country, and it determined that skateboarding improves mental health, fosters resilience, so you're learning how to get back up off the ground, why that's important, and it teaches you how to want to do it. It builds community, and that gender and race matter, and it showed that skaters of color felt a greater degree of safety in skate contexts rather than a non-skate context. So check out the USC study. It's called Beyond the Board. That'll give you some socio-emotional benefits of skate parks. Also check out the Cal State University San Marcos physical benefit studies. These are both available at skatepark.org/start. You know, we have people who are 60, 70, now octogenarians learning how to carve bowls at the skate park. It's kind of a new day for the use of skate parks. No matter what's under your feet, what you look like, how old you are, how much money is in your pocket, these free, accessible action sports recreation facilities are a huge asset to the community. Long story short, if you want to get funds for a skate park, you want to build momentum locally, and you want to work with your city officials and other local community groups who have done similar stuff. It's a lot of work. There's no doubt about it. Either the city's on board from the get-go and you help them every step of the way, make sure they do it right, or you do it on your own to the point where the city hops on board. When all is said and done, you have a permanent, concrete, free, accessible recreation facility that is going to serve the community for probably 20 or 30 years. Every day, you know, people call us and email us to say, hey, this is where we are, this is the issue, what do we do? And that's what we're here to help with. We're here to help with technical assistance, with resources, with guidance, and with grant funding. The Skatepark project has granted over $10 million to 643 projects across the country, 597, and at the time this comes out, over 600 skate parks have had grant funding from the Skatepark project help them along. So there are people out there who want to get this done in your community. And if you're looking around and you're like, I don't really see anybody, it's probably you.
So just really looking at what an accomplishment this is, a lot of people may say, hey, how long does it take to get a skate park built? Well, there's the advocacy phase, which we talked about, which could be 1 year, could be 5 years, could be 10 years. That all depends on how supportive skateboarders are of each other, and then the design process itself could be, on the average, maybe about a year, maybe longer if it's a bigger project. If it's a city that has a lot of rules and regulations and permitting requirements, it could take 2 years, 3 years. And when it comes to the construction, if it's like an average size skate park, which these days might be around that 8 to 10,000 square foot range, that could be maybe a 3 to 6 month build. Depending on the timeline and the flexibility you want to give the contractors, which always helps with pricing. But if you want to do something a little bit more significant in that 20 to 40,000 square foot range, I would say minimum 6 months. Sometimes you can give them up to a year, just to make sure that they're taking the time to do it right. We don't want to rush anyone doing something this sculptural and this unique. You can see this park having been done by more of a general contractor where they were challenged, and where you want, today's skate park contractors really have the time to get all these blends and everything fitting together the right way. If you're interested in getting into skate park development, whether it's design or construction, it's really just like anything. Go find someone who's doing it. Maybe it's an individual or a company, and go research what it is that they do, ask questions, make contact, messaging, emails, whatever. Go to the website, there's links there. We're always hiring, it seems like. And I think it's really just doing the research and asking the questions of what does it take to do this job? Because some people have come to me and said, hey, I want to do what you do. And as soon as I tell them all the steps I made to get to where I am today, sometimes it sounds a little bit more unappetizing. A lot of people just think that, hey, I just started working and designing skate parks. It doesn't work that way. Whether it's working with the cities or, working for the engineering firm and learning how to do a lot of skills that tie into what I do today. Had I not done all that, I wouldn't have been a valued asset to what we do today. Because everything we're doing is working with public city agencies to develop projects like this. And you have to learn how to work with them, educate them in the way that they're going to listen, and ultimately learn how to really fit it and design this into the context of the site that we're in. Because I can tell you right now that if I was to start this project from scratch, I'd be looking at the water over here and wondering what's underneath this ground. How far can we really go? How deep can we go with these bowls knowing there's water right there? With any job, you really just try to find your way and find the right fit for yourself. One thing I learned in skateboarding was not everyone is always going to be a right fit on a skate company or a skate team. So, you know, when you're a good skateboarder and people are looking to find the right people for their team and endorse their products, or, you know, travel with a whole bunch of dudes in a van and not kill each other, you really just kind of have to find the right fit for you with the team and do your values and what your goals are aligned with that team or the company that's actually asking you to endorse all their products and their brand and their image. Every skate park company has their own vibe, their own niche, the way that they handle things, the team they have. So you're not always, just because you know how to do something doesn't mean you're automatically going to be a great fit for everybody. So you just got to take your time to find who the right fit is for you. And for me, I've evolved with a few different companies to find to where I am today, New Line Skateparks, just because they really believe in giving back to the communities they work in. They really designate a lot of time and resources and money to Skateistan and Concrete Jungle Foundation and a lot of organizations that are really giving back to skateboarding. And for me, having come from being a pro skateboarder, my goal was always like, how can I get back to the kids who didn't have anything like I didn't have anything. We didn't have skate parks. I didn't have boards laying around the house. I didn't have a lot of money to buy boards, you know, so I definitely appreciated what my family did for me to help me stay on a board. But I always had that thing in the back of my head as a pro skateboarder and as a skate park developer, how can we give back to the kids who don't have anything and help them have something that they can do that they love to do and keep them out of trouble. So that's really my goal, was just aligning myself with a company that followed that same vision. Everything in here is based on input from the community. So the skaters who live here, and what I mean by living here, literally within 5 minutes skating from the park, they said, hey, we had this really cool skate spot that we liked. It wasn't really popular, wasn't famous, but it was ours. And it was behind a shopping center of some kind. And they said, if we can, you know, match something that had, which was some red brick, then it'll feel like it's Escondido to us. It's gonna make them have a sense of pride. It's gonna make them wanna take care of this place. And it essentially becomes their park. So our job is to kind of be the conduit between the skaters and the city. We know how to design it to make it all work, but it's really their ideas and what they want in the park that makes it special.